Hey everyone. Beyond the crown lie secret histories. Meet the pirate kings, rebel queens, and forgotten royals erased from the story. The year is 1599. The grand halls of the Château de Pau in Navarre, a kingdom nestled in the Pyrenees, are hushed. Queen Catherine de Bourbon, sister of the powerful King Henry IV of France, should be celebrating her marriage to Henry, Duke of Lorraine. Instead, a palpable tension hangs in the air. A staunch Calvinist, Catherine has been forced into a political union with a Catholic duke, and the Pope has refused to grant the necessary dispensation. The wedding proceeds, but it is a hollow affair, a ceremony performed by a bishop who openly questions its validity. Catherine, a woman known for her sharp intellect and unwavering faith, stands resolute, her face a mask of regal composure. Yet, in her eyes, a fire of defiance burns. She is a queen in her own right, a ruler of a sovereign kingdom, yet she is a pawn in the great game of European politics. This phantom marriage, a union in name only for many years, would become the defining struggle of her life, a testament to her personal piety and the brutal realities of dynastic power. Her husband, under pressure, would eventually receive absolution from the Pope, but Catherine would never convert, dying with her Protestant faith intact, a quiet rebel queen in a world of religious turmoil. It is a moonless night in the 1880s at Linderhof Palace in the Bavarian Alps. King Ludwig II, the fairy tale king, is indulging in one of his nocturnal fantasies. The famed Venus Grotto, an artificial cave complete with a lake and a golden, shell-shaped boat, is aglow with an ethereal blue light, an early use of electricity to mimic the moonlight Ludwig so adored. He drifts upon the water, not as a king, but as Lohengrin, the swan knight of Wagnerian legend. Courtiers are forbidden. His only companions are the painted scenes of Tannhauser on the grotto walls and the echoes of his own solitary musings. This elaborate, private world was Ludwig's escape from the crushing realities of governance, a realm where his romantic and artistic inclinations could run free. His ministers in Munich saw a king squandering the state's coffers on extravagant fantasies. Ludwig saw the creation of beauty that would outlast the petty politics of his time. Tonight, the water laps gently against the gilded boat, and the troubled king finds a fleeting moment of peace in his self-made lunar landscape, a world away from the one that would eventually declare him insane and depose him. Washington, D.C., February 1897. A heavy silence falls over a room in the opulent Arlington Hotel. Queen Liliuokalani, the last reigning monarch of the Kingdom of Hawaii, sits at a heavy mahogany desk, a figure of immense dignity amidst the foreign opulence. For years after the illegal overthrow of her kingdom by American business interests backed by the U.S. military, she is a queen in exile, a prisoner of politics. Before her lie petitions signed by over 21,000 of her native Hawaiian subjects, a powerful testament to their loyalty and their rejection of annexation by the United States. With quiet determination, she drafts letters to American congressmen, her elegant script a stark contrast to the brutal reality of her situation. She speaks not of anger, but of justice, of international law, and of the rights of her people to self-determination. Her efforts are a desperate, last-ditch attempt to sway a nation drunk on the idea of manifest destiny. In this quiet hotel room, far from the warm shores of her homeland, the deposed queen wages a war of words, a battle for the soul of her nation. Though her immediate efforts would fail, these petitions would be rediscovered decades later, a powerful symbol of Hawaiian resistance. The Baltic Sea, 1394. The salty spray mists the weathered deck of a fast-moving ship, a vessel more akin to a Viking longship than a royal barge. At the helm stands a formidable figure, his beard wild, his eyes scanning the horizon with a predatory gleam. This is not a common pirate, but Eric of Pomerania, the recently deposed king of Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. Ousted from his thrones by a rebellious nobility, Eric has not gone quietly into exile. He has retreated to the strategic island of Gotland and embraced a new, more direct form of enterprise, piracy. With a fleet of loyal ships, he now preys on the merchant vessels of the Hanseatic League, the very trading federation that once challenged his royal authority. To his enemies, he is a rogue and a menace. To the men who sail with him, he is still their rightful king, a leader who shares their hardships and their spoils. This decade-long chapter of his life is a stark reminder that in the medieval world, the line between a king and a warlord was perilously thin. Here, on the churning waves of the Baltic, Eric of Pomerania is not just a forgotten monarch. He is the master of his own chaotic destiny. Tehran, 1978. In the cool, quiet basement of the Niavaran Palace, a young man, Prince Kamran Diba, nephew of the Shah, uncrates a newly arrived masterpiece. The air is thick with the smell of oil paint and possibility. All around him, in stark contrast to the traditional Persian art that adorns the palace above, are works by Pollock, Rothko, and Warhol. In the final, turbulent years of his uncle's reign, Cameron has been on a secret mission, using a vast budget to quietly acquire one of the world's most significant collections of Western modern art. He envisioned a museum that would bridge the cultural gap between Iran and the West, a beacon of modernity in the heart of the Middle East. With the help of international dealers, he amassed a treasure trove of art, often acquiring works for what would soon be considered bargain prices. But time is running out. The rumbles of revolution are growing louder in the streets of Tehran. This subterranean gallery is a secret, a bold and audacious dream of a future that would never come to pass. Soon, the Shah would fall, and this incredible collection would be hidden away for decades, a forgotten testament to a fleeting moment of cultural ambition. The rugged mountains of Abruzzo, Italy, 1861. A woman on horseback, dressed in practical, dark riding clothes, meets with a group of rough-hewn men. She is not a local noblewoman, but Maria Sophia of Bavaria, the last queen of the Two Sicilies. Her husband, King Francis II, has been defeated, and the kingdom of the Two Sicilies has been absorbed into a newly unified Italy. While Francis is in exile in Rome, the 20-year-old Maria Sophia has refused to surrender. She has taken to the mountains, becoming the heart and soul of a fierce guerrilla war against the Italian state. She is a queen-turned-insurgent leader, raising funds, organizing resistance, and inspiring the loyalty of brigands and former royal soldiers. The Brigantaggio, as it was known, was a brutal and bloody conflict, and Maria Sophia was its unlikely figurehead. The Italian government and the international press vilified her, calling her the Amazon of the Tronto and the she-wolf of Gaeta. But to her followers, she was a symbol of defiance, a queen who would rather fight in the wilderness for her lost kingdom than live a life of comfortable exile. In this mountain encampment, under a sky of cold stars, the last queen of Naples plots a war that is already lost, her courage a forgotten footnote in the story of Italian unification. New York City, 1965. Amidst the clatter of drafting tools and the scent of blueprint paper in a bustling Manhattan architectural firm, a man named Igu is sketching the clean lines of a modernist skyscraper. To his colleagues, he is a quiet, talented architect, a graduate of MIT with a promising career. Few, if any, know that he is also the heir to the defunct throne of the Korean Empire. Born in a palace in Tokyo, educated in America, Igu is a prince without a kingdom, a man caught between the ancient traditions of the Joseon dynasty and the fast-paced world of mid-century America. His marriage to a Ukrainian-American woman, Julia Mullick, further complicated his relationship with the conservative E-clan in Korea. In this New York office, he is free from the immense pressure of his heritage. He can be judged on his talent and his vision, not his bloodline. Yet, the ghost of a lost empire surely haunts him. The precise angles and logical structures of the buildings he designs are a world away from the intricate palaces of his ancestors. For a time, in the anonymity of this great city, the last crown prince of Korea could almost forget he was royalty, building a new life for himself, one blueprint at a time. Hamburg, Germany, late 1870s. In a respectable, middle-class home, a woman named Emily Rouet is teaching her children German nursery rhymes. She wears the modest dress of a German hausfrau, and her life is one of quiet domesticity. But Emily Rouet was born Saad as-Sam, a princess of Zanzibar and Oman, a daughter of the powerful Sultan Said bin Sultan al-Busaid. Her life was once one of palace intrigue, of learning to ride and shoot, and of involvement in a succession plot. Then she fell in love with a German merchant, Heinrich Rouet. Their forbidden romance led to a secret pregnancy and a daring escape from Zanzibar. A British naval vessel spirited her away to Aden, where she converted to Christianity and married Heinrich. Now, widowed and living in Germany, she is a curiosity, a woman caught between two worlds. She has written her memoirs, one of the first autobiographies of an Arab woman, a book that offers an unprecedented glimpse into the life of a Zanzibari princess. As she pours tea for her German neighbors, the scent of spices from her homeland might still linger in her memory, a reminder of the palace, the power, and the life she left behind for love. London, 1920s. In a drawing room filled with British socialites and politicians, a woman speaks with a quiet but commanding authority. She is dressed in an elegant chiffon sari, a string of pearls around her neck. This is Maharani Chimnabai II of Baroda, a progressive Indian royal who is using her platform to advocate for radical change. While many of her fellow Indian princes are known in the West for their lavish lifestyles, Chimnabai is here to talk about the abolition of purdah, the seclusion of women, the importance of female education, and the need for women's suffrage. In her own state of Baroda, she has already been a driving force for social reform, working with her husband, the equally progressive Maharaja Sayajirao Gaekwad III, to establish schools for girls and to promote women's health initiatives. Now, on the international stage, she is a powerful voice for Indian women, challenging both British and Indian patriarchal norms. Her presence in these halls of power is a subtle act of defiance, her soft-spoken words a powerful critique of the colonial narrative that portrayed Indian women as silent and oppressed. She is a modern Maharani, wielding her influence not for personal gain, but for the liberation of half a subcontinent. Cannes, France, 1960s. On a sun-drenched beach on the French Riviera, a middle-aged man adjusts his sunglasses, a lonely figure amidst the carefree holiday crowd. This is Bao Dai, the last emperor of the Nguyen dynasty of Vietnam. Once the son of heaven, the ruler of a nation, he now lives a life of quiet obscurity, a footnote in the tragic history of his country. After being used as a puppet by the French colonialists and later by the Japanese, he abdicated in 1945, briefly served the new government of Ho Chi Minh, and was then made head of state of a French-backed South Vietnam, before being ousted by his American-backed Prime Minister, Ngo Dinh Diem. His life has been a series of political maneuvers, a game of thrones in which he was always a pawn. Now, the Vietnam War rages in his homeland, a conflict that has its roots in the very colonial system that shaped his life. Here in Cannes, he is a man without a role, his days filled with golf, bridge, and the ghosts of a lost empire. He watches the waves of the Mediterranean, a sea so far from the South China Sea of his youth. The sun is warm, but it cannot burn away the chill of exile.